feeling nice. Cooking up with safari spice. Jerk chicken, yes, yes please. Sizzle, sizzle, let it hit. Safari spice, oh let it flow. Feel that rhythm, let it go. Dancing while we cook tonight. Safari spice, your delight. Ooh yeah, let's pop flavors blend. Feel the groove, don't let it end. In the kitchen, we're alive. Safari spice, let's fry.
Oh my God. Did I spray perfume in my coffee? This light. Oh, today. My lighting is just this light. Too bright. It's too bright in here, guys. Oops. Oops. Oh. Hey, how's it going? I'm playing with these lights. What is up, guys? Before we get started, it's mango season. I've been out here picking mangoes. If you want to know how to pick a mango, I did a whole thing on my YouTube. I got the stick, you twist it. It smells so good. Go on my YouTube. I have tons of mango channels, so you know what it is. Come, bring a snack, bring a popcorn, bring your slippers, bring something to drink, something hot, something cold. I don't care. If you want your alcohol, bring whatever you want. Mm. Anyway, guys. Ooh, what is that? Aren't you glad that this is over? It's over, right? We don't have to deal with it anymore. The verdict is in. Is it over? Is it really over? Or are we going to be back to more shenanigans? Is it done? Is the baby oil bandit finished? Does he live to see another day? Here is the verdict right here. I'm late. I'm sure you guys probably already know this already, but if not, we're gonna go through it. United States versus Sean Diddy Combs. Count one, racketeering conspiracy. Not guilty. Do you guys think he proved the RICO? You know what the RICO was, the eight predicates. Remember, we talked about robbery, kidnapping, arson, obstruction of governmental procedure, having the enterprise, D-Rock, Uncle Paulie, KK, Ruben, Roger Barnes. The jury did not see the enterprise. Did they feel, I guess the jury felt like Diddy acted alone and he committed these crimes, but maybe not enough for a RICO. I don't really know. Sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, count number two. I guess that was Cassie Ventura. Not guilty. She had too many text messages. I wanted it. hmm I wanted the freak off. When are we gonna do it? When are we gonna see you again? I love you so much. I miss you so much. I'm gonna get my career. I wanna sing and dance, and I'm gonna sign. Allegedly, there's some contract that Cassie had with Diddy. Allegedly, I don't know. That didn't come up in court. I'm not really sure. Count three: transportation to engage in prostitution for Cassie Ventura, guilty. Count four: sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion for Jane Doe, not guilty. Count five: transportation to engage in prostitution for Jane Doe, guilty. Ooh. So the jury, they delivered in what, 2.5 days? What was it, 13, 15 hours? It was eight men, four women, I think four white, three Spanish, one Asian. The rest were black. One juror got kicked off for lying, saying he lived in Jersey, but he really lived in the Bronx. Another juror was having issues with vertigo, but they pulled the medical records, said it wasn't that bad, that they could stay. And then there was another juror, juror number 25, who was the complete drama queen, who didn't know how to follow the guidelines. And they went back to the judge and they was like, we don't know what to do. And the judge was like, stay and work it out. He did an Allen charge, right? An Allen charge. He said, stay and work it out. And even Mark Agnafili, Diddy's lawyer, was like, no, don't kick the juror off. Don't pick the juror off. Let him work it out. Let it work it out. And this is what they rushed it. And I want to know, did the did the prosecutors put this on the calendar deliberately come 4th of July weekend so they could rush to a verdict thinking that they was going to come back with the guilty. Because this 4th of July weekend, they were tired. They were over it. Listen, the red flag was when they said the jury was sleeping. They was sleeping during the prosecution when Comey was up there and they were delivering their case, right? I heard the jury was asleep. They were sleep, were nodding like this, like dolphins. That's a bad sign. That's not a good sign, guys. That is not a good sign at all. So how you guys feeling about the verdict? What do you feel about the verdict? I mean, happy, not happy, indifferent, whatever opinions you guys want to have. I heard they was outside the court having the baby oil dance. People in New York are crazy. Listen, I laugh. I look at all these podcasters flying over. None of them are from New York, and they go out there and they're like, "Whoa, this is rough. This is tough. This is not what I expected." I'm from New York, so I already know. I'm just normalized to all the crazy. So the fact that they were out there with the baby oil having their little freak off party outside the court, it doesn't surprise me. New Yorkers are crazy. But I do want to say one thing. Once that verdict came in, my phone was blowing up. And it was like, I told you it was a lot of males. A lot of men, my men friends. I told you he was going to get off. Um, I told you he said not guilty. And I could see the division between the men and the women. A lot of men felt like he was totally innocent. His house should never got raided. He shouldn't have got arrested. He did nothing wrong. He shouldn't be in jail. And a lot of people think he should be out on bail right now, which he's not. Um, so I'm like, everyone's like, I told you, I told you, I told you. And I clapped back because I was like, talk about the clap back. I clapped back because I was like, you told me, but he's not home. He's not home. I'm in Miami. What happened to the parade? They was having a big white Rick Ross just bought a house on Star Island, okay, with the rest of them with the shenanigans. And they were having a parade, an all white, Diddy's coming home, all white party parade. Thank God that didn't happen. But he's not in Miami. But everyone's like, I told you so, I told you so. Boy, people were getting emotional. Even Tisa Tell, shout out Tisa Tell, she was doing her thing. Even she was even started fighting outside the court. Listen to watch this.
You found the prostitution because there was no way to get around it. But for everything else, the arson, the kidnapping, the beatings, you found that this man wasn't guilty. This puts everything else in the holdouts. The holdouts, they were the ones fighting the good fight. They were the ones that said, no, I think he's guilty of something. But at the end, they went with the group. What is it said? A jury of between 40-year-olds and 71-year-olds, and they came back and they delivered their view of the world. But when you look at it, their view of the world is why the world looks like it is. It's why the world looks like it does. It's why these monsters can still move forward. They literally use their better judgment to come back and ignore what we have learned about victims of SA, about to ask yourself why sex trafficking has not been eradicated. This is the reason why. Ask yourself why victims don't come forward, and ask yourself, right?
We just want to get your reaction. You said he was going to prison, might be coming home. Just want to get your reaction. What do you think about the RICO?
I think that much like you, the jury very ignorant, acted ignorantly, and had to. No, I'm saying the way you came up on me is ignorant.
I've been looking for you because that's
Well,
what journalists
well,
do.
baby, here I am.
So, what do you think about the RICO? What about all of the lines?
I think I'm on live right now. Okay, worry about your little channel, sweetie. What's that?
I hope Diddy's suing.
Diddy is still not gonna let you suck his dick, baby.
Ooh. Oh. Drama in the court. I'm telling you, oh my God, she lost it. I was like, no, girl, just keep going, go, don't get distracted. You chose man, listen. People are getting tense. New Yorkers love Diddy. Listen, let me just tell you. We grew up in the 90s, Bad Boy, the music, the Benjamins. I remember being in Club Envy in the city, me and Moni and a whole group of us. And we would go down there. Rooney and Paul were running the club, and then the Benjamins would come out. It's all about the Benjamins, baby, and they had the bottles and I mean, he ran the city. He ran the city, and to see him go down like this, a lot of people are just disappointed. I don't know. I mean, what is he? A sexual deviant? Do sexual deviants go to prison for the Man Act? I don't know. I know we all have a higher power to answer to. I mean, that I know. I've been through all the lists of people he has hurt and paid off, and he's gotten away with things over and over and over. And I think his time just eventually ran out. We went through this. We go through this every life. We go through this. We go through the City College, the Steven Stow, the coach at UCLA he beat up. Steven Stow hit him in the head with the bottle. The bang bang in the club. Shine did 10 years from him. He shot Natanya. He bang bang Natanya Rubin in the face. You know, all of this he just paid off. With Capricorn Clark, she got paid $1 million. Everyone got paid. The Bengal allegedly got hung from the balcony, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. Right? Everybody was losing it, man. Losing it. How do you guys feel? Let me know in the comments. Let me know. Hit that like button. Let me know. Are you emotional? Are you excited? Are you glad it's over? Do you want to put it behind you? Is this, I mean, this case is gonna be studied by in law school. They're gonna study just like OJ. I feel like this is like my daughter's generation's OJ. We had our OJ, and I said it before, and I'm gonna say it again. I think the jury with OJ was emotional. I think they didn't understand. Listen, 30 years ago, they didn't understand DNA like we understand DNA today, right? We understand date. You get pregnant, you don't know the baby daddy, you get the DNA. That's it. You're in jail for something you didn't do. There's a DNA. You're out. We understand science. Oh, we want to know what our what do you call it? Genealogy. What part of Africa we're from? We do the DNA. Oh, I'm from Egypt. Okay, got it. Right. You didn't know that 30 years. The scientists were there trying to break down DNA. The jury was lost, but the jury voted on emotion. They were like, all I know, Mark Furman pleaded the fifth. The glove didn't fit. That's what Johnny Cochran told us. And they were tired of seeing the police beat up black men. They got in there and they were emotional over the Rodney King beating. That's my opinion. So when I was watching, and there's been shows, on TV about the OJ trial. So I think this Diddy case, the Diddy trial, we're going to study it for years. And I kept thinking about the jury, dissecting down the jury, right, and thinking, are they going to go by fact? Are they going to go by emotion? I think they were just tired. I think they were tired. I think we live in a very celebrity. I mean, look at our president. We live in a very we stay on demon time. We stay on demon time. The demonic things that happen in this, the toxicity. I don't think you realize. Thank God that I was able to grow up leaving the country. And thank God I'm still able to leave the country, because I don't think you realize. God bless them. I'm not bad mouthing the United States of America, right? I'm not. We have a lot of liberties and freedoms and money. We're still a first world country. We have running water and a roof and all this stuff, right? But the toxicity is crazy. Some of the stuff that we do here that we would do in another country, we'd be in jail. We'd all be in jail. I think mental health in this country should be free. What the kids got to deal with the shootings in the school and all that stuff, I think all mental health, it should be free. It actually should be mandatory, right? But anyway, I'm digressing. That's my ADD kicking in. Let me focus back. So, Diddy, how did the jury? The jury didn't trust. Okay, this is what the commentators are saying. It's not my opinion. I wasn't in the court. The jury did not trust Cassie, and the jury did not trust Jane Doe. There were too many text messages saying, I want it, I like it, I can't wait to see you. There was a love contract written in that, a thing for that. You're going to pay my rent $10,000? We're going to do this act. That's prostitution. She should be in jail, right? Jane Doe should be in jail, right? That's illegal. I can't sell my body to pay my bills. in maybe one day it'll be legal. Some countries, it's Sweden is illegal. Some country, Denmark. So I've been to Denmark. It's legal. They have the whole red light district. I've been there on tour. Um, Nevada. I think there's certain counties in Nevada, maybe where Shannon Sharp, no shade. I think maybe where Shannon Sharp lives. I think there's certain places where you could do certain activities, which is fine. However, with the girl he got caught up with, remember, she traveled. He flew her from California to Nevada. He transported her. Maybe down the line one day they're gonna make all of this legal and there'll never be a RICO and yada yada yada. But with the conservative Supreme Court judges we have now, I don't think it'll happen now. I don't know. How did the jury? They didn't trust Cassie. They didn't trust Jane Doe. They didn't think there was an enterprise. Maybe the prosecution should have had the enterprise take the stand. Maybe you should have had KK take the stand. D-Rock take the stand. Brother Fahim Muhammad, he was in the court intimidating the witnesses. Fahim Muhammad was in the court, right? They were probably like, maybe we need to just do the same, do the right thing. Uncle Paulie, D-Rock, Roger Barnes, they talked about maybe they should have had the enterprise go on the stand. Did they miss the mark with that? What do you think? And maybe it was too long. Everyone got confused. I covered it from jury. I'm not a pot. Listen, guys. Hello. This is a cooking channel. I came up on here to chef it up and have fun and talk food. But because I have been in hip hop, I'm from the Bronx, born in the 70s. I grew up with that era. I was so I wanted to be a part. I just wanted to come on here and be a part. I don't like it, agree, disagree, whatever. I was like, there's a community out there. I just wanted to share the experience, to document and share the experience and try to be non-biased. But I told you before, that's really hard. It's really, really hard for me to be non-biased. I said it before and I'm saying it again because me and Tupac were friends. The being that me and Tupac was like this, whatever happened in Quad Studio, I'm not going there right now. So I do have my biases with that. But I think Diddy's where he's supposed to be. People are like, well, I told you he was going to get off. He's still sitting in the MDC. So whatever, 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 man. All right, so this was Diddy today after he got the not guilty verdict on the RICO. He was facing life. 2 counts of sex trafficking was 15 years minimum to life. After the verdict came in, he did go down on his hands and knees. There he goes. So now, as soon as the verdict came in, which was very swift, Mark Agnafil, I can never get his name right, Agnafilio. Yeah, he came in really swift. He was like, "Hey, get him out the door right now." he was like, "Let him walk right now." And the judge was like, "Excuse me?" He was like, "Yeah, right now, let him go." This was what is it called? Okay, yeah, it's the bail. I don't know what you call it, bail hearing, whatever. Mr. Combs should be released on bail today. For months, the government repeatedly argued and announced to the world that Sean Combs was a monster, that he perpetrated a 20-year federal crime spree through racketeering enterprise. It devoted enormous resources to this prosecution. Then, after almost a year in detention, Mr. Combs finally got his day in court, and the government's allegations were tested before the jury of his peers. That jury heard the government's evidence, including testimony from his former girlfriends, but his verdict, the jury resoundingly rejecting the government's depiction of Mr. Combs. The jury found him not guilty on racketeering conspiracy and not guilty on trafficking. It convicted him only on 2 of the P counts, which were related to transportation of adults whom the jury. See, this would be different as like with R. Kelly with the age. So he's stressing that these are adults. Adults whom the jury clearly found were consensual participations in S activity. These offenses are far less serious in nature. P offenses are no longer even prosecuted in a matter of policy in the Manhattan DA's office, the same for the true of Los Angeles. And many other local, to see what I'm saying? He's saying that prostitution is legal in certain counties. See? It would be unjust to continue detaining Mr. Combs in the MDC even one day longer, especially since given the sentencing guidelines for these prostitution offenses, he would otherwise be entitled to serve any additional time imposed in a lower security facility. Yeah, they were like, get him out here right now. I'm gonna give you all his passports. I'm gonna give you his kids' passports. I'm gonna give you $1 million bills. Send him right to Miami. He wants to go to Miami. We're gonna put him on an ankle bracelet. Whatever you need. We're just gonna hold him till he comes in for sentence. They were fighting hard to get him out. And woo, he wrote this up quick. He wrote this up. They might have had it. You know what? They were so confident, the defense, they didn't even let Diddy get on the stage and testify. They didn't call no witnesses. They really believed they proved their case, which, and then I think when they saw the jury sleeping, I don't know why. I would have been like, wake up. I would have been, get up. You see, I don't know why Judge Room, what is going on? I think he's been fair at Judge Room. And then Diddy even was like, you're doing a good job. He was like, you're doing a good job, Judge. You're doing a good, yes, I'm master. Yes, I'm master. You're doing a good job, Judge. Thank you, Judge. Take the brown nose in. We write the government's opposing bail. First, Mr. Combs was not convicted of a crime of violence. The question therefore consider his bail application under standards outlined in 18 USC. Okay. Second, the government overstates Mr. Combs' sentences exposure. And third, the extend section 3143 applies to the court should release Mr. Combs on the proposed conditions because there are exceptional reasons why his detention would not be appropriate. A. Mr. Combs was not convicted of a crime of violence. The government is incorrect to suggest that Mr. Combs was convicted of a crime of violence. This is not the case. Crime of violence was amended in 1998 to include felony offenses under Chapter 117. The amendment was not designed to capture all offenses under Chapter 117. Then it goes into the protection of children. I'm going to skip that part, right? So we can stay in the community guidelines. Crime of violence. He's not a crime of violence. Then he's going down. Sentencing exposure. For the government's argument about the sentencing guideline also suffers from numerous flaws. The government is now claiming that Cassie Ventura and Jane Doe were co-conspirators and that Mr. Combs was a manager or supervisors of one or more participants, namely Ms. Ventura. They're going into what the charge was against victim 1, victim 2. Okay, this is it, asking the bail. Okay, this is what got my attention right here, is why I pulled it up and I wanted to read here. Exceptional rules to make detention inappropriate. Now, we all know the NDC is nothing to play with. That's like in Brooklyn. I think the heart of Brooklyn, maybe Bed-Stuy. There's no heat. They fight. People get unalived in there. I think he sleeps, with his head next to a metal toilet. You can only go outside 1 hour a day. I think you get 2 to 3 showers a week. It's no fun. And as someone who's fighting like drug addiction or rehab, I don't think it's a place for, a rehab person. But anyway, United States versus Lee itself holds that detention is not mandatory if there's exceptional circumstances as provided. It further holds that the test under the necessarily inflexible one, the district courts have wide latitude to determine whether a particular set of circumstances qualifies exceptional. So he's saying there's exceptional circumstances why he should get bail. He said Mr. Combs has 18-year-old he has 2 18-year-old twin daughters and a 27-year-old son with no other living parent. So he's trying to use Kim Porter. He's trying to say, well, Kim Porter is not here, so therefore I must be released. Did you not think about Kim Porter not being here when you were doing all your shenanigans? Mr. Combs' mother is 85 years old and suffers various health conditions. They're talking about Janice Combs. For example, she was hospitalized in July 2024 for a heart condition and had brain surgery the previous year. She lives near Mr. Combs in Florida, and she would like him to be her primary caretaker. Mr. Combs also has a 3-year-old child who's also in need of her father. Mr. Combs has served almost 10 months in the MDC with its notoriously problematic conditions, and under any view of guidelines, he would qualify for camp or a low minimum security prison for life. You got two mansions in Star Island, but you make your mother's not living with you. She's living like in the area. I think she's on South Beach, but anyway. So they drew this up really quick. I think they probably had it together already because just in case. So they was fighting for that, get him out, which was swift. And then of course here started coming the letters. Here comes Douglas Wigdor. Wigdor don't play. He is official. He was in that court because I think Wigdor was. I think the strategy now, right? Because he got 20 million for Cassie, which was not paid by Diddy. A lot of people think, oh, Diddy paid. It was his. I think it was his insurance policy. His business insurance paid that because she was an employee. But Victor was probably sitting up there looking at all the witnesses, probably looking at Capricorn Clark, looking at Mia, looking at Bengo, definitely looking at Jane Doe, thinking about, can I get any of these other? Because when you go to a civil case, the burden of proof is much less than a criminal case. Just like OJ got off, but all the civil cases came and they try to get off you. So it says, dear Judge Arum, we write as counsel for Cassie Ventura to respectfully request that the court deny Mr. Combs to be released pending his sentences on his two convictions under 18 USC 2421 pursuant to the Bail Reform Act. Detention is mandatory post-convictions on these charges, and Ms. Ventura believes that Mr. Combs is likely to propose a danger to the victims who testified in this case, including herself as well as the community. We thank the court for his time and attention in this matter. Mm-mm-mm. They were like, don't you let that fool out. They were like, we came in here and we testified, and they don't have no witness protection. They're not like in witness protection or anything. Shout out to the Diddy docket. Um, the Diddy docket and Insider Press, boy, they were on it. Okay, then here goes another letter from Dante Nash, who actually testified too. They were right in the court. They were like, don't let this mofo, don't let. I should have done West Side. I should have wrote a letter too, like on based on Tupac Shakur. We I still might do that. No, okay, it says, dear Judge Arum. Okay, I am writing to express my grave concern over the prospect of Sean Combs being released from custody. While I appreciate the fairness you have shown throughout this proceeding, I feel compelled to be unequivocally, about the danger he possesses to the public and to the individuals who have risked everything by coming forward. Mr. Combs has a long, well documented history of violence, coercive, and retaliatory behavior. Oh, that's a good word, retaliatory. Over the years, he has repeatedly escaped meaningful accountability, and each time he has only reinforced his sense of impunity. Ooh, good wording. If he is released now, I have no doubt he will see it as another license for continuing intimidating, threatening, and harming people who challenge or expose him. Many of us have firsthand knowledge of the fear he instills in those around him. I can say without hesitation that he is a serious and immediate threat to victims, witnesses, and the broader community. Ooh, broader community. I know that is right. And we got kids out here. You gotta protect the community. His pattern of violence, particularly while engaged in the trafficking of individuals for prostitution, combined with unchecked substance abuse, makes it clear that he is not ready to re-enter society safely or responsibly. To release Mr. Combs without substantial consequence would undermine the integrity of this process and send a dangerous message. The wealth and influence can shield someone indefinitely from accountability. Mhm. Mhm. It will also endanger those who cooperated with this investigation under subpoena, who are already living in fear of retaliation. I urge you in the strongest possible terms to prioritize the safety of victims and witnesses over any consideration of leniency. Mr. Combs has had countless opportunities to change, and he has chosen instead to escalate his harmful conduct. Allowing him back into the community now would be a profound mistake. Thank you for your time and your commitment to protecting the public from those who repeatedly demonstrate unwilling respect the law. Mm, well written. Very good. So Diddy got sentenced, right? And you know, the his lawyer was like, "Hey, let him out. There's no life sentence, no 15-year minimum. He just got a slap on the wrist. He's been in here without bail already for like a year. Let him out, and he'll come back for a sentencing date, right?" And the judge was like, and he was just begging. The judge was like, "Bail denied." He was like, "Send me a letter." He was like, "Send me a letter." It was 1 o'clock. He was like, "Send me a letter. I'll review it and come back at 5." So they both wrote a letter, and then he came back. Bail denied, and Diddy's lawyer, he was crying. Oh my God! Hold on, shout out to Ticket TV. You got to hear his interpretation of Mark Agnifilio. It was hilarious. Hold on. Into the better program in New York. The jury never heard that. Then he got arrested. All these months later, here we are. The same drive to meet the head on, like the self-respecting businessman he is. He's been a model prisoner. There have been no issues. He's going to have next chapters in life. When you charge him with racketeering, says Diddy's lawyer, you have dark talks. When I was reading Mia's message for his birthday, I had a hard time doing it. His children are here. His 2 daughters. They're in the middle of the second row. They no longer have a living mother, man. Here, the use of the prostitution. The services have been convicted under the Mann Act. And he was acquitted of violence for sex trafficking. Oh, he wants to talk to you, Your Honor. Let me check. The judge says, okay, check. Ms. County. Did he want to talk to the lawyer, to the judge? The suggestion was self-defense is insulting. He slapped her in the shoulder. He had drugs in the NYC hotel room. He invited Jane. Diddy's lawyer said, we can craft conditions with the court. They open to us putting together a bail package. I'm happy to do so. The judge says the bail application was denied and we'll receive, hopefully, a joint proposal on the expedited sentencing on Tuesday and a hearing at 2 p.m. Now get your ass out of my courtroom. Adjourned. Everybody's losing it. I swear, people. Everybody is. That was Ticket TV. He's hilarious. Oh my God! All right, so y'all up to speed. He got charged with 2 or 5 counts, right? Diddy got on his knees, started to pray. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. They were having a party in Miami. Diddy's having a homecoming parade. His sons was outside doing the WAP, right? He thought he was coming home. And then the Agnifili was like, get him out right now. Get him out today, right now, right now. He's got 3 kids without their mother. Get him out right now. He did no violent crime, whatever, right? And then all of a sudden, pause. Cassie, Dante Nash was like, no, we're scared. The witnesses, we're scared. Don't let him out. And then Diddy's lawyer started crying. He started crying. He was like, no, it's unfair. The judge started crying. And the judge said, get out. Just get out of here, right? So let's see. I want to do a little, hold on. The Mann Act. So that's really what he's charged with. 2 of the Mann Act. Isn't that what they got R. Kelly on, right? R. Kelly was on the Mann Act. Was Bill Cosby part of the Mann Act? I don't remember, but R. Kelly was the Mann Act. They just hit Fat Joe with the Mann Act. I can't keep up. There's so much going on. I can't keep up really. So the Mann Act, unforgivable blackness, the rise and fall. The Mann Act made it a crime to transport women across state lines for the purpose of prostitution, or debauchery for any other immoral purpose. Jack Johnson, the first African American world heavyweight boxing champion, was prosecuted under the Mann Act in 1910. Federal law intended to combat human trafficking but often used to target prominent black men. Johnson's conviction, stemming from his relationship with a white woman, and I thought that was his wife. Were they married? Was widely seen. I don't. Could you marry? Could you do interracial marriage in 1910? Hold up. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Hold up, guys. I can go chat GPT. 1910 was. I don't know why I typed because I should just talk it right. Was interracial marriage legal? Probably not. In 1910, interracial marriage itself, meaning the marriage between people of different nationalities, was generally legal in many countries, but it was often complicated, restrictive national. Johnson's conviction stemming from a relationship with a white woman was widely seen as racially motivated. While the act was meant to address prostitution and immorality, the board language allowed it to be used to criminalize consensual sexual behavior. In Johnson's case, his interracial relationships. The Mann Act, enacted in 1910, prohibited transportation of women across state lines. Johnson's case, he was convicted in 1913 for transportation a white woman, Bella, subscribed a former prostitute across state lines. While the charge was technically for transportation of prostitution, the case was widely seen as a way to punish Johnson for his relationship with a white woman. Interesting. The prosecution was full with public outrage over Johnson's relationship with the white woman and his extravagant lifestyle. So say he was jealous. He was a boxer. He was rich. He was famous. He was dating a non-black woman. And his success as a black man, many viewed his behavior as a challenge to the racial hierarchy of the time. Consequences for Johnson. Johnson's fled the country to avoid being served his sentence. Like history repeating itself. This sounds like a Russell Simmons, right? Johnson fled the country to avoid being served his sentence, living in exile for several years before eventually surrendering. He later was pardoned in 2018 by President Donald Trump. Wow. Really? I didn't know that. That's the one thing I like about doing these lives. I actually wind up learning something myself. I come on here to teach you. I wound up learning something myself. The Mann Act's legacy, the Mann Act has been amended over time and clarified the language of limited application, particularly concerning, how's the word I can use? People under the age of 18. Let me just say that. And consensual sexual activity. However, it continues to be a subject of debate due to historical of its targeted individuals, including celebrities like Charlie Chaplin and Chuck Berry. So Chuck Berry got caught up in the Mann Act? I'm going to do a research of the list of how many people got, how many celebrities were. Let me show a picture of him. Here we go. Oh, no. Here it goes right here. You guys can see it on the screen? Jack Johnson. There he is. Wow. So let's see what Judge Joe Brown had to say about it.
So Alonzo, you got about 5 minutes to type in the context, like elaborate more on what you're saying. He says, how would a reasonable person define sole intent purpose? So
Alonzo, not language commonly used in the legal system, but I mean, what are you referring to? I can get some hint, but I mean, I don't know exactly what you're referring to.
The Mann Act.
The Mann Act, that's the problem with the Mann Act. It's too ambiguous. Basically, it was set up to trap Jack Johnson, the first world black heavyweight boxing champion. He had a white wife, and she used to travel with her friend girls. So here is this big, huge black man that nobody can whip. And he was dark skinned, and he would be traveling around with all of these little white girls. And a lot of people would get very offended. So they created the FBI to investigate the situation and see if they could come up with something. And the purpose was to deal with anybody who transported women across state lines for illicit purposes. Now, they got Jack Johnson, but it was not for money.
Now pay attention, guys. This is what Diddy's in jail for right now. And it's 2 counts of the Mann Act, up to 10 years each year. So he's facing 20 years due to this right here, what Judge Joe Brown is explaining.
It's not for hire. He simply was traveling with his lawfully wedded wife through a state, Georgia, and Georgia did not recognize interracial marriage. So the U.S. Marshals boarded the train that Jack Johnson and his wife were on and arrested him. He wound up getting convicted. He escaped, went to France. His mommy wanted him to come back.
Okay, so they said he went exiled in nowhere. France. Did France have a expedition with the U.S.?
Back so she could see her baby boy. He tried to sneak back in, got caught, got more time for the escape than he got for the offense, which was 1 year. And I think he got 5 for the escape. So when he got out, he died in a car wreck in 1946. Barack Obama refused to pardon him, but...
So here's the thing. So he says that...
Wow, so Barack didn't pardon him. That's interesting. But Donald Trump did.
Donald Trump did posthumously pardon him and
Right.
clear him of all wrong.
Okay, so let's just swing it to Diddy, because listen, that was his girlfriend. So he wasn't soliciting her across state lines. That was his girlfriend. They traveled together. So he's saying the elements of the Mann Act, so intent.
Yeah, I mean, it's 4-count indictment essentially alleging Mann Act violations. We went over it, and it goes on at great length to try to set up all this salacious content that ordinarily the feds wouldn't even bring out.
So he said, so how can, for the purpose of sole intent, be proven?
It's not sole intent. It's just, did you bring them across? You know, maybe.
So a lot of you rappers, let me stop sharing for a minute. Hold on, guys. It's interesting what Joe Brown what he's saying. Back in the 90s, when I was on tour and there was no cameras and there was no videos, and you do a concert, I toured with Queen Latifah. We were always the only women, and we would always open the show, and we would headline usually from a lot of male shows, right? And it's very common to be like, after the show, come to the after party. After the party, you're in the hotel lobby. After the hotel lobby, you're up in the room. And the same thing would happen night after night after night, state after state after state. But there wasn't all these cameras. They didn't have all these cameras. And I'm sure it's very common, even today, as it was 30 years ago. You're going to meet someone, they like you like them. You exchange at the time beeper codes or cell phone numbers. There was no social media. And you're on tour, so you're meeting people all throughout the country. You're meeting people overseas, in Japan, in Asia, in Europe, Africa, wherever the tour is going. Tour goes around the world. So let's say we're on a, 10-day tour on the tour bus, going from the north to the south. So you meet someone in Florida, but you live in New York. Come up and see me. That's the Mann Act. If what Joe Brown is saying, and that's what they're using, then every rapper is going to be in jail. If you disagree with what I'm saying, please let me know. Let's go back to what else he's saying because everybody's doing it and they've been doing it. It's nothing new.
They were hiding in a truck you were in when you were transporting furniture. You didn't know it, but if you knew they were in there, that's
the people who they hired,
an intentional act.
but bring who across the people who they hired to have sex?
Well, there you go.
Right, and that's the thing because it can't be Cassie because that was his girlfriend, and if that's the case, then every girl out here could say, "Oh, well, he sex trafficked me because."
Yeah, you can.
That's crazy.
I told you a case I tried as a defense lawyer. My client was a school teacher.
Wait, hold on. Or let's just say you're dating a woman and she lives in another state and you pay for her airfare to come visit you. She can say you
Yes, that is under the Mann Act.
That's crazy.
I know that's what's so ridiculous about it. It needs to be repealed. Now, listen, my client was a school teacher. He went to a conference in Westminster.
Okay, you guys can come on her channel to watch that if you want to. That's the real Dana. Oh boy. So Sean Diddy Combs has been sentenced. No, Sean Combs' sentencing is scheduled for October the 3rd. Usually they do it in 60 to 90 days. They pushed this back 4 months. October 3rd, following his conviction on 2 counts of transportation for prostitution. The judge proposed the date of time is 10 a.m. It's already on the calendar. October 3rd, 10 a.m. The defense is fighting to get moved up earlier to expedite the process. The defense has indicated that they are open to waiving a pre-sentencing investigation, potentially to expedite the sentence expedite the sentencing. The prosecution and defense are also in disagreement regarding the appropriate sentencing length, with the prosecution advocating 51 to 63 months, but the defense proposing 21 to 27 months. Combs will receive credit for any time served. So the prosecution max is 63 months, but the defense is saying 27 months max. So you could take the average and figure it out. I think the judge doesn't like Diddy. I said that before. I don't think he likes him. He don't like him. You saw the video of him dragging Cassie. He don't like him. He knows he's manipulative. He knows he's violent. He refused his bail once. He refused his bail twice. He refused his bail 3 times. He didn't take a $50 million bail. He believes that he's violent and he's manipulative. He believes he's a danger to the community. And that is why he is sitting. That's why Diddy didn't get out, get on his jet, go to Miami, take a shower, and he's not at the all-white party tonight for 4th of July weekend. Because that judge does not like him. So the fact that he could have let him go today. Hey, slap on the wrist, time served, you're on probation, let's go. Put him on a minimum security, put him on an ankle bracelet. I mean, I don't know, but he don't like him. I get that. I get that impression he doesn't like him. I did see the RICO. I think the prosecution, in my opinion, and I'll admit I'm wrong if I'm wrong, I didn't see the trafficking of Cassie and Jane Doe. I saw it with the male entertainers, but I did see the RICO. I thought it was lay down with the RICO. I saw it. If I was on the jury, I'd be like guilty because I saw it. I saw the Enterprise. I put pictures of the Enterprise up. We went through the whole, but see the kidnapping thing. Capricorn said she could go home, and then with the arson, it was the female fingerprints. They had aiding and abetting. There was too many text messages. They were in a relationship. It's elite trafficking. That's what it is. Elite. It's different than what we. Anyway, let's go back to the 77. Okay, so the Mann Act federal charge is 10 years. He got 2 counts. That's 20 years. Now, do I think that the judge is going to give him 20 years? He's going to get a lot of he's got to answer to the higher ups. Number two, the federal government spent a lot of money to take a big loss like this, right? But the jury spoke, and we have to trust the process. We have to respect the process. Like it, don't like it. We have to respect the process. Um, I think the judge is going to look at everything. He's going to look at his background, his history, what good things he's done in the community, what bad things he's done in the community. He's going to drug test him. He's going to ask him if he's going to drug therapy, if he's going to rehab, is he getting counseling? How is his, he has a psychiatrist in prison. He's going to take all of that into consideration. Listen, when little Kim was in prison and she didn't snitch, Diddy didn't go visit her, and he didn't put any, she talked about it. Little Kim talked about it. Look it up. Don't take me for word of mouth. She said he never visited her and he didn't put any money on her book. Shine went away for 10 years for him. And now you want to cry after your little 10 months you in there. You want to go home and you on your knees begging, and Shine was in there for 10 years with your shenanigans, and you left him with a public defender when you and your man Wolf had Johnny Cochran. Rest in peace, the Wolf. So okay. Prosecution's like, hit him with the 5 years per count. The defense is like, nah, just give him 2 years, right? So if got 5 years per count, 10 years. That's what Shine did. Give him the 10 years. But he's gonna look at it, he's gonna say time served. And then I think it's a first offender. They're gonna knock it down. They're gonna knock it down. Time served. They're gonna knock it down again. First offender. They're gonna knock it down again. And then there's another program. There's some other program. I don't know what it's called. There's a program in prison that he can do, and he can knock his time down a little bit more. So I feel like the judge don't like him. He's the federal judge. He has full discretion. He is in control. He could say go home today, or he gonna say sit down for the next 20 years. It's totally up to him. So we're gonna have to wait and see what it's gonna be on October 3rd. Hopefully we can put all this behind us. The baby all freak off, the baby all bandit, put it behind us. And always remember, God has the wrath of madness of God will be heard. God always has the last word. So on that note, I'm out of here, guys.